I'm not going to go through all of the points over here. I want to talk a bit about, what are the top trends that drive what some of my colleagues and I call as future of the future ERP. I think, two or three out of these which are creating a significant amount of influence. The first one, of course, is the complete shift of business models for some of the industries, as well as for some others where business models are not shifting, at least a significant amount of influence, even though it sounds a cliche of digital technologies on how business is conducted. Customer centricity, when I started the session, I mentioned about that. A significant amount of rethink or reimagination of how business is conducted is driven by the number of touch points, the number of channels, and the amount of influence and choice that our customers have, and we need to make sure that at every single touch point of our customers, we drive a very consistent and a very top level experience. I think beyond customers, every part of an organization and enterprise's ecosystem, the value chain in which we operate, is critical, and it is not necessary only to drive that experience with our customers, whether it is employees, which are top assets for any enterprise, whether it is our partners with whom we do business, who are our suppliers, or the broader ecosystem. Each one of them is important, and the enterprise backbone and technologies need to support that. We see in a number of industries M&As picking up significantly, and while these M&As are driven with very clear objectives, synergies, and benefits intended for the organization and for the stakeholders, I think for them as well as in general, for all these programs, the time to market vis-a-vis the investment that is put in is critical. I think CEOs and CFOs expect a significant amount of benefits to start flowing in as early as possible, and not like the classical way where one needs to wait for years for those benefits to flow in. I think two or three out of the considerations that I'll pick up. First of all, whether you go for a conversion or a greenfield, the whole concept of relooking at the core, shrinking that core to what is bare minimum to run the enterprise, but looking at what other cloud solutions are available that can be deployed. I'll talk a bit about that in a moment, but that's becoming critical. Cloud adoption, again, as customers, whether they do a greenfield, new system implementation, as Arne mentioned, or a conversion, what benefits and how much acceleration can the adoption of cloud give, not only for the current programs, but in general, post-conversion is becoming critical. Of course, we talked about, I think Arne talked about Fiori. In general, I call it user experience. And apart from Fiori, apart from these solutions, what makes the ERP system more intelligent? What kind of process automation capabilities does S/4HANA or any other solutions on top of it offer? What machine learning capabilities need to be leveraged to make sure that we get the right benefits out of the ERP become critical. Irrespective of whether we go for a conversion or for a reimplementation, organizations want to, and in my opinion, should relook at what functionality and what capabilities do they want to retain in the ERP. There are a number of innovations, there are a number of capabilities that SAP offers, also other solution providers offer, which are endorsed products, which are add-on products from SAP's partners, which add tremendous capabilities depending on where your businesses are moving. Businesses which are significantly, let's say, impacted and influenced by servitization, by a lot of service-based models, want to move out of very rudimentary, heavily customized CPQ functionality and want to look at capabilities that new solutions like a Calidus or other applications can offer, and therefore move that functionality and make the ERP more leaner. And there are a number of such examples, whether it is in the whole service management aspects, whether it is related to how project-based businesses run. All of these influence the overall decision-making, the end state that organizations decide before they start such programs. Again, some lessons learned as we approach these programs, some guidelines based on the experiences that some of our customers and we have seen. I'll call out 2 or 3 of them. I think the first one is obviously an early assessment of what simplification options can you gain from while you initiate conversion programs is important. There are a number of low-hanging fruits. There are a number of must-have innovations that businesses can and should adopt as you embark on your S/4HANA journeys with a conversion approach. It is, I would say, a mistake if business is not involved thinking it's a conversion approach. It is very important to make sure that business is involved upfront and they understand the impact and they are able to also be a party to a lot of decision making. The second part is the potential of cloud, the adoption of cloud, and whether there is an ability to also accelerate your decisions on potential cloud adoption, if possible in one step or otherwise, of course, in a phased manner as these programs are undertaken. I guess one of the foremost topics that is of interest is around downtime and business continuity. We will talk a bit more about it, but obviously, this is a critical aspect of consideration. A lot of proof of concepts. I think some of the offerings that Arne mentioned are very relevant to do early proof of concepts, early simulations to make sure that we secure business continuity. Data and the need for the exact amount of data, the real value out of data is of course critical. And at the same time, I think looking at peripheral systems, looking at interfacing systems, which might also need its own adaptations, is critical.